The judge was furious with this man. He had already got on his nerves, so he decided to make a drastic measure to silence him.
Zip it until I give you a chance to talk. You'll get a chance to talk.
Charged with 3 counts of armed robbery, Franklin Williams came to court and quickly tested the patience of Judge John Russo.
I just met this attorney the other day.
That's fine. So
they came and took my cell phones yesterday, and they came and took all my property out my cell today.
Mr. Williams, I'm the judge in the matter. Shut your mouth, and I'll tell you when you can talk. You got it? It's the same rules we played by while we were here in trial, every time we were here for a pretrial. So just follow the same rules. Fair enough? So at this point, I'm going to hear from your lawyers, and that means zip it.
But you're not letting me tell
That
you
means
what's going on.
zip it right now.
You trying to?
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
No. Does the comment quit talking? Do you understand that?
Because you're trying to take my life, Judge,
No.
and you're not letting me tell you what's going on.
Take your life for what? What do you mean
It's not fair. You're trying to take my life.
What does that mean?
On the document.
Again, I'm going to interrupt. Mr. Williams, listen to me. If we have to, I will gag you in 1 second. So listen to me. You will get a chance to talk. I'm going to gag you in 1 second. So just listen to me. Zip it until I give you a chance to talk. You'll get a chance to talk. I am going to give you a chance to talk. Here it is again. So you said to me you understand this comment. Zip it. Right now.
Williams' insistence on talking was already making the judge furious, but after that he went on and on, despite the authority figure asking him to stay silent.
Mr. Williams will...
Mr. Williams, be very simple to gag you. You'll get a chance to speak. So tell me.
Black women just walked in here.
Okay,
so I have not even been around.
Let's go back.
Peers.
I'm zipping. Anything you want to add to your insanity?
The defendant really looked like a child who didn't understand instructions, and that's why Judge Russo kept telling him to shut up.
I'm going to tape it, and then I'll unzip it when I want you to talk, because the young lady over here can't take down everything. You know how this works. We've been in the courtroom at least 50 times as we prepared for trial. Now I'd like you to speak.
Mr. Williams, I want to make it real clear. If you spit on, attempt to bite, or injure any of my deputies, you're going to have a bad day.
None of that.
Oh, you clear?
Put the tape on me, man. We done with this shit. That's what it is.
We'll go back on the record. Mr. Williams will have a chance to speak.
And I'll be monitoring everything I say.
The image of Williams with his mouth taped shut generated a lot of comments. Of course, it really was surprising, and as much as he'd already warned everyone out, Judge Russo decided to apologize to the criminal.
In retrospect, while there is legal precedent for gagging a defendant to keep order in the court, I apologize for taking that action last week. My decision to end your outburst came after I had exhausted every other attempt to restore order to a hearing that you continuously impeded. Despite many warnings for you to stop your frequent and offensive outbursts, I believe it was over 60 interruptions in 54 minutes, you continue to interrupt and hinder the legal procedures of the court. Procedures that are designed to protect your rights, the rights of the victims, and our justice system.
Despite the apology, the defendant's mother came to his defense.
My son has suffered enough.
But it was also he who took to the stand to express a reflection regarding the case for which he was on trial.
I want the world to know I am not an animal. Contrary to what people may think, I am a man.
The trial would ultimately be led by Judge Patricia Cosgrove, who sentenced Williams to 33 years in prison for the crimes he had committed, and because of the negative police record that preceded the defendant.
And no, you're not an animal, Mr. Williams, you're a human being. But the question the court has to determine is whether or not you've learned from those mistakes.
Attitudes such as the one displayed by Franklin Williams are not uncommon in courts of law, and that is because defendants often become a headache for the judges in charge. So much so that, as happened to John Russo, they end up losing their patience and their control.
I'm withdrawing my plea of guilty to not guilty, and
Denied.
I'm withdrawing my plea
Anything
to
else to say
appeal.
on the
I'm
sentencing?
withdrawing my plea to appeal.
That completely exhausted the judge's patience, who decided to stand up to the insolent defendant.
And if you refuse to sign it, I'll sign it on your behalf because you abused a child years ago. You admitted to me you abused this child.
The truth is that it's hard for judges to keep their cool when confronted with people like this. Beyond the seriousness of the offenses committed by the accused, their attitudes in the courtroom are often the ones that end up exhausting their patience. Cases such as that of Franklin Williams aren't unique, who, knowing that he shouldn't interrupt the lawyer, continued to insist until he was completely gagged.
Mr. Williams, I want to make it real clear. If you spit on, attempt to bite, or injure any of my deputies, you're going to have a bad day.
None of that.
Oh, you
Put
clear?
the tape on me, man. We done with this shit.
That's what it is.
We'll go back on the record. Mr. Williams will have a chance to speak.
And I'll be monitoring everything I say.